Hi everybody. Hello out there. How's everybody doing? I'm gonna give everyone a couple seconds to hop on. How's everybody doing on this Tuesday evening? Let's see if we're there yet. Okay. See if I remember to turn my volume off this week. I think so. Okay. All right. Well, welcome to my live. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for joining me. If it's either live tonight or on the replay or on YouTube, I appreciate you watching. We're going to make some really pretty cards tonight, so I'm pretty excited about that. I have a lot to tell you about today too with Stamping Up because this week is kind of weird because it's a lot of stuff ends this week and a lot of stuff starts this week. So it's kind of a transition week for us with Stampin' Up. So if you haven't joined me before, my name is Laura Roderick. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator in San Antonio, Texas. I hope everybody's having good weather. We're a little bit stormy right now. It's kind of been thundering all day, but not a lot of rain. But just when I was getting ready for my live, it was kind of pouring rain. So I'm hoping we won't lose power or internet or anything like that. So let's get started before something like that happens. Let me turn my camera around. Okay. All right. Exciting news about these two catalogs. These start on the 1st, which is Friday. So I still can't show you what's inside and open them up. But the Celebration catalog always has a whole bunch of free items that you can earn with $50 or $100 purchase. There's stamp sets, there's papers, there's die sets. So that's fun. And then the new mini catalog, which is going to have everything fall and Christmas and some other things in it. A lot of fun stuff in this catalog. Can't wait to start using it. Today we're going to be working from the annual catalog, and I'm going to show you, we're working with the Awash and Beauty suite, and this is a really pretty suite with lots of flowers. It's very floral. We have these beautiful papers, which I'll show you up close, the stamp set, the dies, and these really pretty iridescent pearls that are just beautiful. So these are the cards that we're going to make this evening, and I'll show you them a little bit up close. So we have this You Are a True Friend card with the gold and maroon, Just For You card, Just Because, and then You Are a True Friend. So let us get started. Okay, so this is the stamp set that I was talking about. You can see it's got roses and other flowers and really fun stamps. It's got a couple of really nice sentiments with pretty fonts on it. This is the die set that goes with it, and this is called Organic Beauty Dies. And this will cut out not just some of these stamped images, but also some of the images that are in the designer series paper. This also comes with a die, which I'll show you in a minute. If I can figure out what I did with it. Hold on, let me see if I put it in here. I'm not quite sure what I did with that. Oh, here it is. It's underneath. It's magnetized to the other side. This is a really fun, like, lattice die. I still have a little piece of gold in there. And I thought this would make a really pretty background in gold for our card. So we're going to use that one as well. Okay, and then let me show you the papers that we're going to use. Kind of up close and personal, although very cut up from what I've been playing with. Really pretty patterns. Look at the beautiful flowers on this. I love these colors of the flowers, roses. And then the other side has nice patterns. These are the ones I was telling you could just cut these out with the dies, so that makes it super easy. They're already shaded and really pretty. I like the color palette. Let me show you a full sheet of this one. This full sheet right here, you can see you can just cut it in half and then use this for the cards. It's just really, really pretty. It's kind of like a one and done card for you right there. And here's some more patterns right here. The colors, they always list on the back that coordinate with them. So today we're going to coordinate with Balmy Blue, Blushing Bride, Calypso Coral, Granny Apple Green, Mary Merlot, Mossy Meadow, Polished Pink, and So Saffron. All right. So let's get the pieces out for the first card. And I'll show you what we've done here. So we're going to start always first with our card base, right? And this is 8.5 by 5.5, and it is scored at 4 1/4. And this is just going to open this way. So this is just a half sheet of your basic cardstock, your 8.5 by 11 cardstock, right? So we have this really pretty card base in that beautiful yellow color, and I believe that's So Saffron. Then I have the gold foil, and this is what I took that die and I cut out using the die to make this beautiful lattice work. And what I'm going to tell you about this is when I did the card the first time, I kind of used that glue pen that I always use, and it didn't stick that well. So then I was trying to dot some glue behind it, and it got a little messy. So then what I did is Stampin' Up! Has these sheets, and they are adhesive sheets. And all you do is take your adhesive sheet and just put one side on the back of here. I can show you one up close. It's nice and sticky. You're just going to peel off the backing, and then you just stick it on the back, right? And it doesn't have to be perfect because the whole thing doesn't have to be stuck down exactly. So you're going to peel it off. Then you're going to set it through your die cutting. And then I'll show you when we make the card that it just peels off nice and easy, and then you have the adhesive exactly where you want it. So we're going to do that. Okay, so the next layer, let's just start layering up the card, okay? The next layer we have is this Blushing Bride pink color, and I just cut out just a regular piece of that, so that's 5 1/4 by 4 of the Blushing Bride, and we're just going to adhere that right to the card with our seal. And we'll kind of center it just like that. Now the next layer, I have the Mary Merlot. I love this pretty wine burgundy color. Isn't that pretty? And I've used another die set. I used a lot of die sets this week. I don't know, I just went crazy with die sets, but they're all like basic sets to use. And this is one of our newer sets. This is the deckled rectangle dies. Do you guys remember the deckled scissors from like in the 90s when I was scrapbooking? I had a pair of the scissors that would just cut out the deckled edge. Anyway, these deckled dies are really nice. And as you can see, I just used one of them and cut out from the Mary Merlot, so it has that really fun edge. And then I also did that of the smaller one for our label that we're going to use for our sentiment. So that's kind of a fun set of dies. Okay, so let's adhere the Mary Merlot piece, and we're just going to center this. And again, using our seal right in the middle. Okay, now we're ready to go ahead and put on our lattice. And I'm just going to peel off the backing to those adhesive sheets. And look how easily that peels off. And now it's just going to be the right amount of sticky, and it'll adhere perfectly to our card. So I'm going to line this up right on the edges of the pink, just like that. Isn't that pretty? I love that. I love gold accents on cards. I think they look really nice. Okay, the next part was really easy. So the DSP, the designer series paper I just showed you, I just cut out a piece of that, and I actually fussy cut this. So what I did was I just went around and just took my paper snips. These are really sharp scissors by Stampin' Up, and left a little bit of a white border all the way around. And I'm not going to show you the whole thing because that's really boring to watch, but I can tell you it's pretty easy. It only takes, I think I timed it, and it took me 4 minutes to cut it out. Okay, so here's the one that I have that's already cut out, and I just thought that would be a really pretty centerpiece for the card. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on now with our dimensionals. Whoops, those are my minis. Oh, I'm starting a new sheet. Fun. And we'll just put a few of these on to hold it in place. And we'll pop that up so it's standing off of the card. And we'll put it kind of just a little bit in an angle right here. I want to leave enough room for my sentiment to go on. Okay, so that's all set like that. Let's go ahead and do the sentiment next. So I wanted to have a little bit of a gold accent in the sentiment too, so kind of all tied in together. I'm using the stamp that says "You Are a True Friend" from that stamp set, and we're going to stamp that in Versamark, and then we're going to use our embossing powder. Now I also want to show you this really fun kit, This is coming out in the new catalog that starts on Friday. And this is an embossing kit that Stampin' Up! Makes. You could actually pour your embossing powder over here so nothing gets on your work surface. And then it's almost like a little funnel that screws off, and you can just funnel it back into your little cup. I keep mine in little containers, but this is still a good thing to have. And then the brush, which is super handy if you have any extra little speckles that need to be brushed off. This reverse pair of tweezers for when you're doing small pieces so you don't burn your fingers when you're doing your embossing. And then this embossing buddy. And what this does is it just kind of gets the static off so you don't have your embossing powder sticking in places that you don't want it to stick. You only want to stick it to your words. So what you do with this is you just kind of go over your paper and it gets rid of the static, and then we're ready to stamp. So let's take our Versamark pad and go ahead and stamp that right in the middle. I love embossing. It's really easy and you get such a nice result from it. So I try and do it a lot. So now I have my gold embossing powder. And we'll just pour some powder over it and kind of flick it off a little bit. And I think that looks pretty good. Now this is the point you could take your brush if you see any little flecks that need to be flecked off. And I've been wanting a nice little brush for this. All the brushes that I had over here were my water brushes, and I don't want to mix water with embossing powder. So I'm kind of excited about my new brush. All right, now because this is a small one, I am going to go ahead and use the reverse tweezers to hold it, and then we'll get our heat gun and just heat it up. Okay, I think that came out really pretty. Hopefully you can see the gold in that. I think it looks good. All right, so let me move my little tools aside, and we'll go ahead and put on our sentiment with dimensionals again. I should probably just leave these out since I use them so much. But I feel like if I don't put everything back where it goes, then when I'm looking for it, I can't find it. And that's no good. All right, so we'll put this just down on the side in the corner like that. And maybe put this flower over it. Okay, next, to embellish it a little bit, I did cut from the die set. You can see this die right here I used for that same gold foil paper. And I die cut a few of those. So I have 3 of those. So I'm just going to put these around just to add a little bit more bling to our card, a little bit more gold embellishment. I'm going to use glue dots, and I'm going to take and cut off the stems because they're going to go behind, and I feel like that'll give me a little more room that I won't have to stick them down as far. So I'm just going to take a glue dot and put it on the end, just like that. Whoops. And then I'm going to put one kind of tucked right underneath here, like that. And it sticks up a little bit, which I like. It just adds a little bit more dimension to the card with it sticking up. And we'll put one underneath here. And then we'll just put one on that 3rd side. Right under here. And then the front of our card is done. I don't think it needs anything else. Doesn't need any rhinestones. It's got a lot of pretty gold bling. What do you think? Do you like that one? I think this one's my favorite of the group that we're doing tonight. I just think it's really pretty. Now for the inside, just to show you another way, I've just stamped one of the roses with some leaves on the inside. So our inside is also going to be the basic white cardstock, and it's going to be 5 1/4 by 4. And I'm just going to take our stamp. This is the rose stamp that's in the set. And I'm going to start by stamping that first. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to take Polished Pink, which is one of the coordinating colors, and I'm just going to ink that up on my stamp. Then I'm going to take one of our little sponge daubers, and I have a lot of these, and I label them, so because I don't like to mix them, and it's not something that I really wash off either. So anyway, I'm going to take one and just dab it in my Mary Merlot, and then I'm just going to kind of put it a little bit around the middle of my rose, just to add like a little bit of a second color on there. And we'll see how that looks when I stamp it. Okay, so I'm just going to stamp that in the corner here. And I think that looks pretty. You can see the little bit of color variation there. And then I thought, well, that looks a little bit plain, so I wanted to add a couple leaves to it. So what I did for that is I used the Mossy Meadow, and I have the 2 leaves, but I don't want to stamp it over the flower. I could probably get pretty close, or I could mask it off. And when I did the one for the other card, I masked it off. And all I did was just, I took a little bit of masking paper, which is kind of like, it's almost like a Post-it paper. So it's kind of sticky, but it lifts off. And I just stamped right on there and then cut it out. Okay, so I can just put it over, if I can figure out which way it goes, just like this. So I'm kind of masking the flower right there where I'm going to put the green stamp. And so I can just stamp over, and none of the green's going to get on my flower. So I'm just going to stamp like this, and then I can lift my little piece of masking off. And it looks pretty good like that, right? And then I'm just going to hold on to my little piece of masking tape in my little case with my stamp, so I can reuse it again if I would like to. So that's just a different way you can use this stamp set too, is to actually stamp flowers. And then we will just adhere this to the inside of our card. And then this card is finished. That one took a little minute because we had a few steps to do, right? And then you could stamp another sentiment, or you could just write on the inside of your card. All right, so that is our first card all finished. All right, so let's see what we want to do for our next card. I think we're going to do the next one. We're going to do the easy card, right? And this is just with that paper that I showed you that you can just cut in half and cut in, and like the whole card is practically done because you have just the background already done and all the pretty colors, right? So for this one, I also brought in this cute little banner die. And that's from this newer set too, which is Stylish Shapes Dies. And this has a lot of fun shapes, and it's nice because you don't have to cut the banner, right? Because sometimes you have to cut the banner edges, and it's stitched around. So that's what makes this a really good set. But you don't have to do that. I always say use what you have, right? So you can just cut this piece of paper like it is, and then just cut off your little banner, and you don't need the stitching, and just, you know, use what you have. You don't have to buy a whole set of dies just for sentiment. Although I will say they're super handy to have. So the other thing I added to this, and again, you don't have to add this because I think the paper is beautiful by itself, is I added a little butterfly. And this is from the Brilliant Wings dies. And this is the other butterfly set that we have, right? This one's been around a while. This is in the annual catalog. So these are really beautiful, beautiful butterflies. It's a huge set with lots of stamps. So you could do backgrounds behind it. A lot of dies in this set. So I use this one right here and cut out a little butterfly just to add something extra to the card. So here are our pieces for this one. And this one we're starting with the Balmy Blue cardstock for our card base, okay? And this is 8.5 by 5.5 and scored a 4 1/4. Then I cut 2 pieces of the basic white cardstock at 5 1/4 by 4. We're going to end up putting one on the inside, and then we're going to do this one as the next layer of the card. So we can go ahead, let me do the other layers first, and then we'll pop that one up, okay? So here's that piece of cardstock that I was telling you about. And when you cut it, everyone's going to look a little bit different, right? So this one looks a little bit different than the one that I used there. But no matter what piece you use, it's all going to look pretty. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down to our white card layer. And we'll center that up. And then we're just gonna do a little sentiment. And again, on that little banner that I showed you, and this one we're gonna stamp Just Because, and we're gonna do that in our black Memento ink. So we'll just ink that up and see if I can center it. It's hard to, I'm gonna move it down just a little so I can see. Okay, it's a little bit crooked, but I'm gonna go for it anyway. It's best, I feel like it's best to stamp and then die cut. So that's what I usually do if I'm not making a video. Then this is just a little strip of the designer series paper. It's the same one that we're using on the front, and you have that pretty green color. So we'll adhere that little strip down. And I think that strip, let's see, I think it's 4 inches by like 3/4 of an inch. Yeah, it's 4 by 3/4 of an inch of the DSP. So we'll put this at the bottom right about here. Okay, then we will put our sentiment on, and I'm not going to pop that up. I don't want to pop up too many things here. Whoops, missing a little adhesive. And we'll put that right about here. Okay, then we're going to add a bow. Now this olive ribbon I think is so pretty. It's like a chevron ribbon, and it's real soft, and I think it's so pretty and coordinates so well with so many of our products, because I feel like we use a lot of green with plants and flowers, and so this is a really beautiful ribbon. And we're just going to tie a bow, and just tighten that up just a tad. Somehow I got a little twisted with my bow here, but that's okay. All right, where's my scissors? I can hear the thunder still rumbling outside. So I think the storm is not quite over yet. We'll put this on with a glue dot right about here. And then it's up to you if you want to add a butterfly or not add a butterfly. I'm just going to add a little bit of adhesive to the middle of the butterfly and then kind of bend the wings a little bit up. And I'll probably put the butterfly still in the same spot right about here. Okay, let's pop this part up. Onto our card base. All right, let's see if I can center that. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now let's add some embellishment. And these are the basic pearl jewels that I was telling you about. They're iridescent and they are pretty. They just have this beautiful sheen to them. So we're just going to take some random pearls, and I actually put a few on the butterfly. So I started with a medium one and then a couple of the small ones just to decorate that. And you could just end it right there if you wanted to, or if you want to add more. I like them perfectly lined up too. We can just add a few random small dots in different places on our card. And I think actually that's all I'm going to do. I'm just going to leave that the way it is, like that. Okay, and did I do anything on the inside? No, I'm just, because it's the colored card, I'm just going to put my inside as white so you have something to write on. And you could decorate this, add a little designer series paper, or you could put another butterfly in here, anything that you wanted. So that is our second card. One second, I need a quick drink of water. Okay, if you like these projects tonight and you'd like to get the make and takes, all you have to do is place an order of $35 or more at my site, right here, and I will also link that in my Facebook and YouTube video, so you can have the links. If you place it by Saturday, I will send you the make and takes for the projects free, and just as you can see, I'm pulling all the pieces out of the envelopes. That's what I would be sending to you also. Yeah, you have to use this host code, so I know to send it to you. It's EZHTBQRV this week. All right, let's do this one next. This is the Just For You card. So this one I added, you guys see me using this every week, right? The layering circles dies. This set is so handy because, you know, I use it constantly. If you don't have layering circle dies, you can trace a shot glass or something and then just cut it out. I mean, again, use what you have for the circles. But these work really pretty, and half of them are scalloped. And you can just use the different sizes. I seem to have messed up the way I layered these, but I don't think it matters. The other thing I used with this set, I told you I used a lot of different things this week. I kind of got carried away, was this Just For You. This is a new stamp set, and this is really fun. It's called Charming Sentiments. And this one has all these sentiments, which are really beautiful and beautiful fonts, right? But then it has all the dies to just cut around them. So that's really fun. So for example, the Just For You that we're going to stamp has one of the dies, and you're just going to line it up like that and just cut it out so it looks like that. So really pretty, really nice. We're going to do the same thing with the flower with the dies. Okay, so let's get out the pieces for this one. Okay, this time we're going to use that beautiful Mary Merlot for our card base. And you can see how nicely it coordinates with the designer series paper. Same measurements as before. We have our piece of DSP that we've cut to 5 1/4 by 4. Okay, I have 5 1/4 by 4. I also cut out a basic white for the inside of the card that we'll be putting on. Okay. So here are other pieces. So we're going to start, let's start by getting our flower and our sentiment ready. I think that's a good place to start. So I just need a little scrap of white, basic white cardstock, and I'm going to stamp in the Mary Merlot. And did I pull that one already? I did. We just used that for the rose. And I'm just going to use the little Just For You stamp. And that's this one right here. I'm just going to stamp that straight on like that. Okay. Then I took these flowers from the designer series paper, and we're just going to use the die to cut that out too. So let me cut this down a little bit, and we're going to use the die cutting machine. I'll show you how to cut those out. So I'm going to use the mini cut and emboss machine, and I'm start, I hope you can see, using a little bit of my Post-it tape to hold the dies on. Okay. So sometimes you have to just keep turning this till you get it to the right spot, and I think this is the right spot right off the bat, so that's good. So the die is made to just cut out the flowers that are already on the designer series paper, and let's get the Just For You die that I was telling you about. I don't know if you can see this. I think I'm too low. Let me try and move this up a little bit so you can see how I'm putting this on here. And it just barely fits around the edges of the word, right? Just like that. So I'm going to hold that in place also. And I moved it with my fingers. With also my piece of Post-it tape. And then we'll put both of these on our die cutting plates, and then we'll just crank it through the machine. Nice and easy. You can hear the little crackling as it's cutting the paper. All right. There is our cutout flower. And here is our cutout sentiment. Perfect, right? Easy breezy. All right, so I think all our pieces now are ready and we're ready to assemble. So this is the other side, the flip side of this designer series paper with this really pretty green pattern. It almost looks like little plants on the back side too. So we'll put this just about here on our card. And then I'm going to take more of that olive ribbon and tie it around and make a little bow on the side. Tighten that up a little bit. Okay, and let me just trim off this piece a little bit and make sure we have it enough off to the side, which I think that looks pretty good. Maybe up a little bit more. Get it in position, good. All right, so I used the layering circle dies and cut out a piece of a vellum circle with a scallop, and then just a plain white circle. So we'll attach that with some of our seal. And then we will pop up our flower. Just put 2 dimensionals on here. And we'll put that right about there, right in the middle. And then I'm just going to put a little seal on the back of our sentiment and put that right in the middle. And then we will pop this whole little piece up and put it right about here on the card. Maybe turn it just a little bit. And then we'll pop up the whole piece. Oh, look what I did to my ribbon on the back. Good thing nobody's going to see that, right? And it'll have a little room back here because of the dimensionals. So we'll put that on our card base. All right, another easy one, right? Okay, now let's take, I just have a little bit of designer series paper strip left over, and we'll put that on the inside of the card. Right like that. We'll leave a little border at the bottom. And then we'll pop this whole thing up. Sometimes I do this at the wrong angle. On the inside of our card. Right like that. Okay, lastly, let's just add a little bit of pearls to it. And again, I'm just gonna kind of place them randomly on the front of the card. And I think I'm just gonna do all little ones. Just kind of find some open white spaces, which is kind of where I want to put these. Maybe here, there, and maybe one more. Okay. All right, that's card number 3. Just for you. You could put a happy birthday in the inside, anything you would like. I think that's just a fun little card. Okay, 1 card left. Let me just make sure my fingers are clean here. I feel like I'm getting some ink all over the place. I think because I got my, let me just clean off my stamp pad for a minute. Somehow I managed to get ink everywhere. Okay, so the last one, again, more dies. I used the stitched rectangle dies, another good set to have, but again, you could just cut out rectangles. Rectangles are easy to cut out, but I do like the stitching on them, so I use those for the sentiment. So this card right here, this was the first card that I started because I wanted to do a spinner card, so when you would open it up, this middle part would spin, and I was having trouble finding the right kind of like thread to go in the inside, so I just kind of threw it aside and was like, all right, I'm done with this card. And so then I started working on this card instead, this thank you, and this is just a nice little fun fold with kind of the same set, right? So it's just a nice little thank you card. But I had stamped this in black, and it just didn't look right, and I didn't really like the card, so I was like, okay, let me go back to this card, and then I finished this card. But then last night I was like, all right, well, you know, I had a little bit of time and I went back and I redid the sentiment in this color instead of the black, and then I liked the card a whole lot better. And this I had popped up before, and this time I just stamped it and I thought, okay, well that looks better too. So anyway, there's another project that you could do with this card. Super easy, super simple to do. A little fun fold thank you card. Okay, so back to this card. This card's nice and easy. I'll get out the pieces for this one. All right. This time we're going to start with the Calypso Coral, and same as before that we used, the 8.5 by 5.5 square to 4 1/4. Then I took those layering circle dies, right? And I cut out the circles from the two places. So the way I did that was the first one I cut was the scalloped one right here. Okay, then I put it where I wanted it on the card so it would line up properly, which was right about here. And I took my little pencil and I just made a couple of marks here and here and here and here. That way I was able to line up my next circle die, so it was going to be perfect, right? And the next one was a little bit larger, and I just used a regular one, not scalloped, because I didn't want to have to get the scallops all lined up. So that's how I cut it out and lined it up good. And so on the inside, you can see you're just going to have that little blue scallop on the inside. And I think that looks just fine, right? So that's how I lined up the circles for that. So we're just going to go ahead and adhere this. And let me get a little bit more around the circle area. And we'll just adhere this to the front of the Calypso Coral card. See if I cannot mess this up now that I'm all sticky and not get it crooked. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we have a nice opening to the inside. So this time, the same designer series paper as the first card, but this time, rather than fussy cutting around the edges, all I did was take a layering circles die with the scallop and just cut it right out of the DSP. So we're just going to put that right in the middle with some dimensionals. Okay, hold on. I keep having a problem. See, when I don't put it away, then I can't find it. Ooh, did you hear that thunder? That was a big one. I guess we're still going to get some storms for a little bit. So I'm just going to line this up right like that in the middle. I think that looks really pretty. So when you open it up, it's still in the inside. All right, then our sentiment, I'm going to use the You Are a True Friend again, and I'm going to stamp it with the Mary Merlot. Isn't it nice the way all these colors coordinate together? I think they look really nice. I'm going to move this down so I can see. And you could use any sentiment that you want. You could make this a happy birthday card. You could make it a thank you card. I'm going to keep a couple dimensionals and pop this up. And right like that. And then we'll just adhere this to the bottom part of the front of the card. Right about there. Okay, we're going to tie a bow again with that beautiful ribbon. I'm going to need to get some more of this ribbon because I used it all on these projects. I've been using this ribbon a lot. And one thing I'll say about the Stampin' Up! Ribbon is a lot of it comes on the spool, which is super nice. It lasts a long time. Okay, so let's get a glue dot, and I'm just going to put this up in the corner. Right there. And then we will add a place just to write on the inside. Now you can make this bigger if you wanted to. I just kept it kind of small, and I would just finish writing in this little spot. So I'm going to put it right about here, and that'll finish up the inside of the card. And then we'll just add a couple more of those beautiful iridescent pearls. And I think I'm almost out of my take your pick, this little putty, I need to add some more putty to it. So I'll have to do that because I have used it all up. Okay, so that's our last card. I hope you like it. I hope you like all the cards. Let me bring them in again just to have a last look and show you what we've made this evening. We have the You Are a True Friend. We made this pretty card, super easy, the Just Because with the butterfly, the Just For You card, and You Are a True Friend. I think this DSP, this paper, is just really beautiful, really easy to work with, makes some really pretty cards. Okay, let me show you a couple things that we have coming up. This is the last week that we have, and I'm going to show you what we're going to do for next week. I've already got some cards designed for next week. So this is the last week of this mini catalog. It ends on Thursday, okay? And you can see mine is pretty beat up. I have used the heck out of it, ordered all kinds of stuff. I'm going to show you just a couple card samples of the kits that you can order from this. And these are cards that we've done before on the lives. We had, this is from the daffodil ones. We had the windmill ones, the rainbow. We did the rainbow shaker. There's the ladybug dies and stamps in there. The flowering rain boots collection. More of the daffodil when we did the Easter card. This is a really fun set, Seize the Day, and has a lot of underwater things in it. And then this card, which I didn't get to show you because some of the stuff I thought had sold out, but then it really didn't sell out yet. And this is a fun little gardening set. So if you're interested, take a look. If you go to my website and then on Stampin' Up and just click on Last Chance Products, you'll see all the Last Chance products on there, and a lot of them are 30 to 50% off. So that's really a good deal if there's anything you want to get before they retire. The new stuff comes out on Friday. Let me just quickly get my lists together. If you want the project measurement and supply sheet for tonight's projects with all the measurements, just email me at sunshineandsparklestamping@gmail.com. I will send it to you. I got my paper pumpkin kit this week. And again, let me just show you this quickly so you can see what comes in a paper pumpkin kit. This was a fun kit this month. It was Pick Up the Crop, and all your paper pumpkin kits will come with instructions. They come with a stamp set, envelopes, card bases. This came with vellum, all these little punch outs. You don't even need to die cut anything because it's got all the punch outs. It came with linen thread, a Calypso Coral stamp pad, glue dots. And this one too, I didn't decorate this. Oh, and it also came with a pack of dimensionals. And then this cute little bag, which I haven't decorated yet. But these are the cards, and I made these just exactly according to the directions. Well, I might have changed the sentiment, but pretty much according to the directions. So it made this card, and this card, and then this cute little card with the matching envelope. So really cute little set. If you're interested in paper pumpkin, then this month's paper pumpkin is Sending Good Thoughts, and it has a nautical theme to it. This is the link, and I will put this in again on the YouTube links if you wanted to sign up for this. And it's really a good deal because, like I said, everything's included, including the shipping. The only thing you have to do is pay tax on it, and you can subscribe and get it monthly. And it's a good way to have fun. You can take a kid on vacation if you feel like crafting on vacation because everything's included. It's just so easy. And I think that's all I want to tell you about the promotions for right now. And then let me show you what we've got going for next week. So one of the sets in the catalog, the new catalog, the Celebration, is this Hippest Hippo set, and you can earn this for free, and you can earn this for free. This is the stamp set. This is the dies. Really cute little stamp set. Just one of the many things you can earn in the Celebration catalog when that starts on Friday. So next week I want to make some cards with that set. So I've got this cute little hippo card that says You're Always on Point. This little hippo card that says Make a Splash. And then this one, You're So Totally Awesome. And I brought in a couple other sets with this. The wave set I brought in for this one as well, so we'll play with that. And then this was kind of inspired by my upline Erica, and she did something with the aloe vera and the little sunscreen. She did bottles and a little holder. I was going to use these little packets, and I think this would be a fun thing to keep in your glove compartment, give to a friend, put it in a diaper bag, because you have some aloe vera and then you also have some sunscreen, which is super handy to have. This paper right here, I realized this morning when I was thinking about it, retired already. So I've got some ideas for an alternative to this paper for next week's projects. So I hope you can join me next week for the projects. Again, thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you like the cards we made. If you did like the cards, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and you can subscribe to my channel. And I hope y'all have a very good week and a very happy 4th of July 3-day yay weekend. All right, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.